It has been a crazy week for me. I feel like every time I make a video, there's just more and more wild stuff that happens. I don't even know what to think at this point. I'm just kind of holding on and just writing it out. I don't even know where to start. Things have been going great with the business. I just had a really good sales meeting. I did some presentations to this guy and it went really, really well. So I'm really happy with that. Feeling really great about that. Jiu-jitsu's been going amazing, but I've been struggling a lot emotionally for the last couple weeks, like a lot. And I had a really, really tough training session last night. I think it's honestly probably the hardest thing I've ever done from a physical standpoint. It's the hardest I've ever worked out, the most tired I've ever been. I was to the point where I was like, I was pretty much accepting death. And I know that sounds extreme, but if you've ever been a fighter or ever been in a fight, or been a wrestler, if you've been a wrestler or a boxer, you probably experienced that, or MMA. But it was extremely grueling, and I was just pushing it the whole night, just giving everybody hell, just straightforward, no matter what, just constant pressure. And it was a mostly wrestling heavy night, and we were doing drills where we'd have to like pick up our partner and carry them up and down the mat, pick them up on our shoulder. And I hadn't trained for like a week, just because a lot of things have been going on, and I've been really busy with work and my business. And another situation came up, which I'll get to in a second. But I hadn't trained for a while, and just a mixture of that and kind of what I've been going through emotionally, I was just having at it. I was doing extra reps back and forth, carrying the guy. I was just going 110% in every wrestling round. And the coach noticed, and he was just like, he was fired up, and he like pulled me aside and was just like, man, like, this is awesome. And it felt good to hear that and get that validation, but at the same time, it really took everything in me to not start tearing up. And I was really close to it. And I had so much built up emotional energy, and yeah, I guess just pushing my body to the utmost limit, like the highest limit that it could take. I had nothing left. I could not hold back. I couldn't restrain myself, like emotionally, because I was so tired. And I just kind of I kind of sat by myself for a little bit in the corner of the mat while other people were like after the class was over, while other people were kind of working on stuff and hanging out. And I just couldn't talk to anybody. And yeah, it was really tough. It was really tough. But I got a lot out of that class, and I feel really good with where I'm at as far as my progression goes. But the other day, me and a couple of coworkers, and we're really cool with each other at work, but we've never hung out really outside of work. And we tried to go to a bar the other day, but they backed out on me. And so the other day, one of them was like, "Hey, you guys, we should like all hang out after work." I was like, "Yeah, that's awesome." And so we went golfing for the first time. I don't think any of us have ever golfed before. Of course, we sucked. I was decent. I was halfway decent. But yeah, it was probably pretty tough to watch. And we hung out there for a while. And then he was like, "Hey, you guys want to go to a bar after this?" We're like, "Yeah, that'd be awesome." So we went looking around for bars, and we saw this dive bar that wasn't that far from where the golf course was. And so we go to the dive bar, and I've never been to a dive bar before, but it's pretty awesome. It's one of those places, like, you know, they got the pool tables, you can smoke inside, which is pretty awesome. It's like that typical like movie kind of bar. I mean, most people probably know what a dive bar is, but if you don't, it's like what you imagine from like a hole-in-the-wall bar, where everybody's like smoking inside and playing pool. And so well, I'm back up before that, because there's just some like weird circumstances that happened. We were on a sales call with this lady, and it was very evident that she was not, and this is at work, this is like at the very end of the day, this is the last call that we had. It was very evident that this lady was not okay in the head. She started going off on like weird rants with long pauses, talking about how she like has the key and nobody else knows where it is, and like talking about like an impending event that she's going to be part of, and kind of like insinuating that she was not going to be around much longer. And I couldn't tell if she's either like talking about offing herself or doing something that would get her killed. And she just started getting really incoherent, and it got really, really dark really fast. And so and it was my partner who was doing the call. I was just sitting in with him, listening to it. So we usually do that towards the end of the day. We'll sit in and just listen to each other's calls and give any like feedback. And so he wound up hanging up the phone, and we contacted 911 to do a wellness check on her, because it was like really, really worrying. And so we contacted the operator, and the operator for the area, when we started giving some information about her, because she was using a fake name too, so we didn't really know what her real name was, and it was really weird and really worrying. But we wound up giving enough information for the operator to identify who it was. And she said, "Oh yeah, we dealt with this lady a bunch, but we'll send officers out to go check on her." And that was really really unsettling and really sad. But I feel like we at least did everything we could. There's no like yeah, there's nothing you can really do in that situation as far as like talking to the person, because it's also like, yeah, it was just yeah, it was tough. But I hope that lady's okay. Yeah, I think we did everything we could. But that was what happened right before we left work and went to the golf course. So that kind of set the tone for what would happen for the rest of the night. So we go to the golf course and everything's normal, and then we go to the bar afterwards, and it's cool. One of my coworkers got a call, and so he walked outside, and the other guy, me and him started talking, and he started opening up about himself and his personal life, and was telling me things about himself that I hadn't known before, and things he struggled with. And so that was cool. That was cool to get to finally see that side and get to know him a little bit more. And yeah, that was all good. But then we started playing pool, and this guy approaches us, and he's just like, "Hey, can I watch you guys?" And we're like, yeah, no problem. So he starts kind of watching us, and then we're like, "Hey, there's 3 of us. Do you want to get in on a game?" So he starts playing with us, and he's pretty good. But it starts to become evident that he's like really drunk. We're all like buzzed. So it's kind of hard to tell, and things seemed like relatively normal at first, but then he started going on about like he kind of, when I was off to the side, he stood next to me and like kind of quietly was like, "Hey man, I'm not gonna make a big deal out of this, but I know one of you guys took my shot." And I was like, I just kind of ignored it because I'm like, okay, this guy's drunk. Like, maybe, I don't know. I don't even know if he knows what he's saying right now. But then he kept making comments about it, and he was like, yeah, normally I wouldn't make a big deal about this. And I'm not tripping or anything, but like, I had a shot, and now it's gone. And I put it right there. And he's pointing to the table, like, right next to us where we have our drinks. And I'm like, man, I'm sorry somebody took your shot, but I don't remember you walking up with anything. Like, I didn't see you. And he just keeps going on and on and on about it. And I can tell he's getting more, like, agitated. And I can start to sense there's something up with this guy. And it's not just him being drunk. And so I start to try to console him a little bit and de-escalate. And I'm like, man, I'll buy you a drink. Like, you can keep playing pool with us, and I'll get you a drink since you lost your shot. So I buy him a drink, and then my friends want to go outside, so I'm like, hey, I'll be back inside. Here's the drink. You can keep playing pool, whatever. So we go outside, and we start kind of hanging out with the lady who's running the bar, and she's explaining to us like all the events and everything they have, and showing us this food truck they have outside, and it's a really cool spot. I definitely want to go back. But we go back inside, and the guy's still playing pool, and so we start playing with him again, and then he starts kind of like, he's saying, like, oh, he starts, like, kind of looking around, and he seems really stressed. And so I'm like, what's up? What's going on? And he's like, I can't find my phone. So I started trying to help him and look around for it. And he just starts, like, wandering off and walking around the bar, going to the bathrooms. And he starts to seem kind of, like, frantic. And so I start questioning him, like, you know, when's the last time you had it? Did you come in here with it? And he's like, man, to be honest, I don't even know how I got here. So now I'm like, okay, this is a bit of a serious situation. So, something I've always had in my life is I don't like, leaving anybody behind. And even if there's somebody who is, like, other people would be scared of, or they would think they're sketchy or whatever, I've been in really tough positions in my life before. And so I try to be very empathetic to that and not write people off. And at the very least do something to try and guide them in the right direction. And so I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, I need to start leaving here, but I want to help get this guy in some kind of direction. Like, not like take him home or anything, but just point him in the right direction before I head out. Like, there's nobody else is. My two co-workers that I was with, they were wanting to leave, and they were kind of heading out. And so I as all this is going on, I'm in between the last game, in between our turns. I'm talking to this guy, like, so what's your situation? Like, is your phone in your car maybe? And he starts answering, like, really vaguely. And he's like, man, I don't know where my car is. I'm like, well, you didn't park outside? And he's like, no, I just went outside and I looked and my car wasn't there. And I'm like, well, do you have keys or anything like that? And he's like, checking his pockets. But I can tell there's something in the way that he's doing things where I can tell he's not being upfront with me. It's not that he can't remember. He's not, part of it is he's drunk, but part of it's also that he's trying to not be upfront with me for some reason. So I start asking this guy, like, what's the last thing you remember? How did you get here? Where do you live at? And he's like, well, I live in my car. I'm like, okay, well, this is a problem, right? We need to figure this out. If you live in your car, you can't find your phone, you don't have keys, and you don't know where your car is, like, what's your situation? Do you have a job? Like, what's going on here? And I can tell there's, like, the vibe is sinking around this guy. Like, there's something really serious. And so my two friends are like, I can tell they're getting uncomfortable and they're trying to head out. So I'm like, okay, y'all can go on. I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick. And I tell the guy, like, I'll be right back. So they leave, and I come back out, and the guy is playing pool with another group. So I, like, kind of grab him. I'm like, hey man, let's go outside and talk. So we go outside, and I'm like, okay, dude, what's your deal? What's going on here? And that's when he starts opening up to me. He says his car was towed a few days ago, and he walked to the bar, and he's like, he doesn't remember really what he did before this for the last couple of days. He's like, he was just walking past the bar and he saw it, and he just was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get, shit-faced tonight. And I'm like, well, do you have a job? And he's like, yeah, I actually have to be at work tomorrow morning at 6. I'm like, well, and he starts asking me, like, where do you stay? I'm like, well, I live in my car right now. And he's like, well, where do you, like, where do you stay? And I'm like, well, what, you mean, like, where do I put my car? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, what? Like, you're asking for, like, a parking lot? Like, do I know a spot? And I'm like, right now, I'm at different spots, but I have some friends that let me put it, like, on their land. And he was like, well, where's that at? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to tell you that. Like, we can't, like, stay there together. I'm like, if you need a place to stay, I can get you a hotel. And I'm like, you don't have any family? And he's like, well, I have my grandparents, but he's like, I don't want to bother them. Like, it's super late at night. I didn't tell them anything. And so I don't want to just, like, show up randomly, at like 1 or 2 in the morning. Like, okay. I can understand that. So I'm like, I'll drive you to a hotel. I'll buy you a hotel room. I was like, do you have enough money to afford an Uber? Because you need to get to work tomorrow. And he's like, yeah, that's not a problem. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, so I can drive you to a hotel. As long as I know you have money for an Uber and you're set tomorrow. You'll be sobered up, sleep in a hotel tonight. And then tomorrow, after you get off your shift at work, you can start figuring things out. At least you'll be in a spot. And it really seems like he's not wanting to do that. And he keeps asking me about, like, well, where am I staying at? And I'm like, well, I'm going to sleep in my car tonight. I was like, but, you can't, you can't stay in my car with me. Like, one, there's not really space. Because I have all my tools and stuff in there. And, like, I live in my car, so I don't really have the space. And also, too, I don't know you. Like, we just met. I'm not gonna, like, sleep, with you in my passenger seat all night. And he's like, oh, yeah, that's fair. And so then he starts kind of opening up to me about his life and his situation. And he starts talking about how he was in a marriage for 10 years. And his best friend, who was also married, wound up getting cheated on by his wife. And so he had to leave his house or his apartment, and he wound up taking him in, and he's like, hey, you can stay with me. And so his friend is living with him for a while, and then he starts to notice texts on his wife's phone from his best friend, and it's, like, suspicious, and they're texting late at night. And then he says one day he walks in on them. And this is, like, his best friend, his childhood best friend. He's known him since they were, like, in, like, 3rd grade. And now he's starting to get, like, really emotional, and he's kind of breaking down. And now I'm thinking, like, I'm feeling like there's a reason why I'm supposed to be here in this moment. Why I went to this bar this night, why we didn't go the previous night, because if we went the previous night, we wouldn't have gone this night, why this guy walked up to me, all of this stuff. And that's not to say, like, anything special about myself at all. I'm just like, well, I'm in this position. I just went through a very similar situation, and like, I just feel like I was put in this situation, even if just to listen to him. And so we started talking for, like, 2 hours outside the bar, and he starts telling me about how he lost his house, he lost his dogs, and the divorce. That's why he's homeless. he had to take out a loan to pay his bills because he lost his job, and that wound up kind of sinking him financially, so he wound up losing his car. And so his car actually got repoed, not towed. And he also got a DUI. And so he's like, it's still pending and everything, but he's like, I know that the job that I have right now, like, which is the last thing I have left, he's like, I'm gonna lose it as soon as I go to court and this DUI gets processed. And so he's like, I'm gonna tell you something. He was like, the reason I was here tonight is because I was just walking around and I knew I was gonna myself tonight. And I was walking around, in my last walk, and I just happened to come across this bar. And so I was like, I'm just gonna get as drunk as possible and just end on a high note. And he's like, if I didn't run into you tonight, I would have ended it. And that hit me pretty hard. When I could tell, I had a feeling. I could sense it when he walked up. But him saying that, it made me start to realize how similar I've been feeling. And I haven't really talked about it because I've been trying to keep such a positive tone and be motivational for myself and for other people, and really I was trying to be strong through this whole situation. But as things have kind of settled and I've gotten used to this new life that I'm living, the reality of what I've lost has really started to sink in. And no matter how many people I'm meeting, no matter how many friends I'm spending time with, or even new friends that I'm getting, no matter how many business opportunities or how well things are going at work, no matter how all those things are going, I have been feeling worse and worse and worse each day. And it's been really tough to confront and address it because I feel like everything is going exactly how it should be going, all things considered. And I would tell myself over the last couple months that, all this is like, it's for the best. This is what's supposed to happen because I wouldn't have started, or I wouldn't have committed to my business like this. I wouldn't have gone out and gotten the opportunities, gotten into sales, met the people that I've met, done all the things that I've done recently, started training MMA and getting really serious about just martial arts. And in spite of all of that, I feel terrible. And I have had this pit in my stomach. but I haven't wanted to address it because I'm scared of it showing that what if I'm not on the right path? And I don't know what that means, but I know that the feeling is there. And having met this guy at the bar the other night, we just had so many similarities between the two of us, and hearing him express things in the way that he did made me feel like I was talking through him. Like he was saying every single thing that I felt. And that realization has really stuck with me. And I'm not saying I'm going to do anything to myself. I'm not. I have no plans of that. I've had experiences in the past, years ago, and I'm not going to go there again. But regardless of that, the feeling is there. And I can't ignore it anymore. And I feel like that meeting that guy was a way, it was like the universe, like, throwing that in my face. Like, you try to run from this and push it underneath the surface, but, like, here's this very real situation. Like, this is you right here. You're looking at yourself from the outside. Like, this is what you're actually going through. It doesn't matter what you're trying to tell yourself. What this guy is experiencing and what he's talking about, this is actually what you're going through right now. This is what you're actually feeling, but you're too scared to say to yourself or to anybody else. And yeah, I've been thinking about that ever since. But I wound up staying with that guy the whole night. We drove around and got some food and just sat in my car and talked, and I drove him to work. And now I have each other's numbers, and so I want to stay in touch. But it's tough. It was really tough. And he still had pictures of his ex-wife, and it happened a lot longer than my situation happened. Because for me, it was just, I think, like 4 months ago now. I don't know, maybe 3 months. A lot's happened since then. But it was still clear that he hadn't moved on and was still holding on to it. And that was a big reason why he was in the situation he was in, why he was in the hole. Because it was still consuming his life. And I mean, he was married for 10 years and knew her since they were kids. And so I can't, the magnitude is higher than what I am going through, but it's still such a similar situation. Having known somebody for years and been in a committed relationship with them and planning your life around each other, and then somebody who's really close to you breaching that in such a in such a vile way. And just experiencing such a intense level of betrayal from people who are close to you. And everything flipping upside down overnight. And maybe the message I'm supposed to get from meeting this guy is that that's what it looks like. Like, my life will look like that if I cannot move on. But I'm also like, I feel like I am moving on. I feel like I've been doing everything I can to move on. I've been doing everything I can to get my mind off of it, and I feel like I was addressing it in the first week, in the first month, and making sure I didn't suppress my emotions. And I feel like I've been doing everything right. And I feel like I've done pretty well. But I am still having dreams every single night, and I can't get away from it. And I'm just feeling this weight getting heavier and heavier every day. And it feels especially draining when I'm experiencing so much success, that I'm still feeling more and more empty. And I really don't know what to do. I know I'm gonna keep going, but I am still trying to understand what it is that I need to do. Because this pit just feels like it's getting deeper and deeper. And I miss having the fulfillment of a relationship. I miss that a lot. And I really want that again. And, I don't feel bad about myself. I don't feel inadequate. I feel very confident in who I am. I feel very proud of myself. I feel very content with who I am. And I don't feel like that is, I don't feel like I need to be with somebody to like make myself feel better, or make myself feel confident, or know that, sometimes you want to be in a relationship just so you can get the attention, and just so you can get the validation of feeling like, oh, I can get somebody. At least I know I can get somebody. At least I know I'm attractive to somebody. And I really don't feel that. I don't feel that at all. I genuinely do have love for myself. I genuinely do respect myself. But I miss being with somebody. I miss those moments that you can only get from being in a loving relationship with another person. You can't get that on your own. I miss those moments. I miss so much when I am having these breakthrough moments, when I'm finally getting success with my business, and I'm going out and I'm getting these achievements and things I never thought that I would be doing right now. And honestly, things I wondered if I could ever do, because it scares me so much putting myself out there and taking all these risks. But I'm doing it, and I'm experiencing success in all these things that I've wanted to do for so long. And I'm overcoming all this doubt that I've had. And every time I have a victory, I don't have anybody to share it with. And I used to share all of that with somebody. My phone died. It was probably a good thing. I started to really feel it, but yeah, I miss sharing everything with somebody. I miss sharing all of my victories, all of my defeats. And I feel it especially with the victories. I feel it every time that I finally do something that I was working so hard to do while we were together. And I find myself wanting to, not like wanting to reach out and like contact her, but like my first instinct is like, oh, I'm gonna go tell her. Oh, I can't wait to go share this with her. And then I can't. And I wish so badly for her to see where I am now. And not in a way where, like, it's her right now seeing me. Like, the person that I was with. I wish so badly that I could be doing these things while we are together, and that version of her see what this version of me is doing. And it's not even where it's like, well, what if I was doing this? Could we have stayed together? It's not that. It's just a pure desire to have had the person that I used to be with see where I am today, because I wanted this so bad while we were together. And now I don't have anybody to share this with. And that's been the more successes that I'm getting, the more victories that I'm lining up in life, in fighting, in my job, and going into a completely new industry that terrified me, that I never would have thought I would have done before, and actually going all in and starting a business and building it and succeeding in it. And I'm doing it all alone. And I don't care if, maybe me being alone right now gives me more time to do this stuff. I don't care. I don't care about that. I don't want to live a life where I'm just like successful and like alone, but I have, millions of dollars and I can do whatever I want. I don't give a shit about that. All I want is to build a life that I'm proud of and share it with somebody else. And if it slows everything down to do that with somebody else, I'll take that trade any day. I just want to do it with somebody. And I don't want to build it and then have people look at me and be like, oh, look at that guy, he's like successful, whatever he has, and like that be the thing that they're attracted to. I want to build the things that I'm building right now, and I want to do it with somebody and have them on that journey with me. And the thing that hurts so bad is that I thought I had that. And I thought that, and I communicated my vision and my goals and my plans, and I thought we had so many discussions and so many conversations, and it seemed so much that we were aligned in that our goals were in sync with each other. And I had it in the back of my mind. I had this feeling of safety because it was like we found each other at just the right period of our lives where we can both build ourselves individually and build this thing together. And we'll know everything each other went through. And so when we finally get to experience the results of all of the hard work that we put into this along the way, and all of the battles that we fought, and all of the things we had to overcome, that it would be so rewarding and so fulfilling because we did it together every step of the way. And we talked about it so much. And somewhere along the way, we got onto different paths, and that was not communicated. And the whole time I was working so much because I thought that was getting us there, and meanwhile she was getting on a different path while I wasn't around. And it happened over time where I couldn't see it. And because I had that trust and I felt that safety, and we already had so much shared experience together and so many things that we had been through together, I trusted her. And that trust got completely thrown away and burned in such a vicious way. And now that I'm left in the aftermath of that, and I want that same thing, but I feel like I can't do that again because the last time I did it, I got burned. And I don't know if I can put my trust in somebody like that again. When I was with them for 4 years and I thought that I knew them, and I thought that I knew them enough to get married to them. And especially when everything changed so fast. And literally 1 week we were talking about getting married, and the next week I come back and this person despises me and doesn't even want to talk to me and is ignoring me. And then a week later tells me when I get back from work that they don't want to be in a relationship anymore, with no explanation as to why. Zero explanation. After she was literally talking about getting married to me for 2.5 years, maybe 3 years out of the 4 years we were together, and talking like that a couple weeks before. And there's been no lead up. There's been no, it's just subtle, and then all falls off the cliff all at once. And that has burned such an impression into me that I don't know if I can share that same thing with somebody else in the same way, even though I want nothing more than to do that. don't know. That's all I have for today.